You're watching the FARC Lowe Dollar Series on Fuel Spill TV, and welcome to the scenic Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for the Cheese Wheel 100. It's a crowded paddock as several different racing series are on hand in support of Sunday's TM Master Cup Series race, but the field of 33 FARC cars will have 25 laps to themselves today. It doesn't sound like much until you consider that Road America is the longest track that we will go to this year at just a smidge over 4 miles. And the field will be led at the start by Sergei Yakovsky of Roos Autosport and Grant Carsons of Durbin Sport Racing. Derain Ridman starts third in a great qualifying effort by Team Timothy, and MJ Bakerman qualifies all the way up in fourth. I'm sure that Kelly Splicent's recent success in that car has lit a fire under her. Carrie Fenton starts fifth in the M&J 64. Lynx has given her a lot of help in making it to these races. She will start right beside Anthony Griffith, followed by Todd Stater and Mauro Adachi, and rounding out the top 10 will be Nicholas Radcliffe and Danica Hollifield, hoping to stay out of trouble for once by qualifying closer to the front. Mark will share row 6 with Kevin Monroe. That is not a typo. The 2010 Series champion and co-owner of M&J Racing is back in his number 63 car after that team's regular driver Noah Dalitz was suspended by FARC for a misogynistic outburst after contact with Carrie Fenton at Oswego last week. Dalitz will have to complete sensitivity training to be reinstated, but until then, the team's primary sponsor, Zing Energy, has given their blessing for them to field an alternate lineup of drivers for the foreseeable future, including Monroe for this race only. And if that's not enough of a throwback, we've heard that Allie Briggs will be in that car, returning to FARC at the Roswell race coming up. Meanwhile, Chuck Johnson, the 2016 champion, will be returning to the Cat Motorsports 46. He'll be doing double duty here and with his new full-time ride in the TM Master Cup Series. Skeeter Farnsworth rolls off 14th, followed by Billy Ray Smith-Thompson. Then it's Patrick Ashcroft, Rip Tyler, Harry Asinola, Ben McClellan. And then our top 3 in points, Hunter Blaze, Taylor Matthews, and Michaela Perry-Jones have all qualified back-to-back-to-back. Blaze has just put himself into second after Taylor Matthews' disqualification last week. Brandon Crasta and Aaron Coltier make up row 12. Then it's Ryan Forrest and Daniel Sharp in row 13. Then Tony Long, Dalton Carter, Silas White, and Daniel Leckliter, another one of the Master Cup drivers racing today, rounding out the top 30. Leckliter does have a FARC win here back in 2015 when the race was absolutely drenched with rain. Starting all the way back in 31st is Phyllis Theodore driving an all-black car for the FSD group in mourning of her fallen teammate, Archer Helms, who passed away in a traffic accident just a few weeks ago. He was also the 2018 FARC Truck Series champion. And rounding out the field today will be John Burr and David Bloom of Team Burr. Sergei Yakovsky leads the field up the hill and to the green flag. This long front straightaway makes it a 33-car drag race down into turn 1. And Yakovsky's not getting the jump he was hoping for. Grant Carsons noses ahead down into turn number 1. Carrie Fenton in the 64 thought about 3 wide. MJ Bakerman slides into 3rd place, but now here comes Fenton down to the inside of the 41 for the spot as Carsons clears Yakovsky coming out of turn 3 and down the long straight into station 5, but there's trouble already, and it's Kevin Monroe in the 63 going around. Looks like a real estate disagreement between him and Danica Hollifield. The 63 goes into the wall and spins back in front of traffic. Broadsided by Ryan Forrest, and Monroe goes upside down. And his return to FARC racing lasts less than a quarter of a lap. Danica Hollifield was shoved wide out of turn 3, and she didn't seem to appreciate that very much. Ryan Forrest in that 60 was not left with many options. Dalton Carter in the 376 for Mason Yokoyama got a big chunk of that as well, but he will return to the race unlike Monroe and Forrest. Field pours down into station 5. A lot of eyes were on this corner in morbid anticipation, and it looks like Michaela Perry-Jones got popped in the back by Danica Hollifield. Got a little bit of help from Aaron Coltier in the 13 as well. She loses a ton of spots on the opening lap as we come back to the caution flag. Yakovsky, the pole sitter, has been left to play defense on this first lap, and he nearly ends the race for himself and MJ Bakerman with some contact going into the kink. Any accident that happens down there is going to be disastrous. Grant Carsons pulls away with a clear lead, as now Anthony Griffith and Kerry Fenton come after Yakovsky, Fenton giving him a shot into Canada corner. Whatever the Roos Autosport did to that 82 car after qualifying, it's obviously not working for him. Most of the field would make a quick stop under this caution, mostly for fuel, but coming to the restart, we have a few of the holdouts coming in. This will leave Kerry Fenton and MJ Bakerman up front. They stayed out, along with Nicholas Radcliffe. The cars that dove in just now are going to lose all that track position, but they will come out with a clear track ahead of them and the opportunity to avoid any possible trouble on this restart. Fenton safely leads over MJ Bakerman for now. Nicholas Radcliffe all over the back of the 41 as Sergei Yakovsky gets turned around by Billy Ray Smith-Thompson. Mark comes shooting back across the track and stuffs the 86 of Grant Carsons into the wall. Perhaps Carsons should have stayed out as well. He had a really good car at the start of the race there. And Yakovsky's bad start just gets worse. Fenton still leads coming down into Station 5, and MJ Bakerman smashes into the back of the 64, spinning her out of the lead and causing a lot of damage to the front end of that 41 car. And that just ruins a great start for both of those cars. Fenton is able to avoid getting bogged down in the sand trap and limps away well down in the running order. This is going to put rookie Nicholas Radcliffe up at the front of the field with his Andy Pearson Racing teammate Billy Ray Smith-Thompson all over the back of him. Radcliffe may be feeling a little more pressure here of all places, as his primary sponsor, Smash Beer, is brewed in Milwaukee. You just saw MJ Bakerman go off the road in the carousel, but she will rejoin as Billy Ray Smith-Thompson is now on the attack. It might be tempting for Radcliffe to battle his teammate here, but so early in the race he might just have to let him go, and there goes Billy Ray making the move down into Canada corner. Smash Beer and Andy Pearson Racing saw a lot of potential in Nicholas Radcliffe after he won several races but just came up short in the FARC Truck Series Championship to the late Archer Helms, but unfortunately his results have not quite reflected that potential. Further back in the field, Taylor Matthews makes contact with Anthony Griffith, bounces off the tire walls right in front of Todd Stater and several other cars. Brandon Crasta and Danica Hollifield get a huge piece of that. And for the second week in a row, Taylor Matthews will come away from this race with no points. She was disqualified last week after coming across the line 10th and gained no points out of that either. But here's a sight that we never expected to see: MJ Bakerman returning to the track after pitting for repairs. Grant Carsons, more problems for the 86 car as he blows up under this caution. And Billy Ray is going to pull out to a huge lead after the restart. He's been off to a very slow start himself this year, and his injury at Nelson Ledges certainly didn't help him at all. Moving up into third place now is Ben McClellan in the 228 for the Lemoyne & Cook team. This is just their 5th start of the year, but they haven't really had a good finish yet. Further back, the battle for 4th is on between Skeeter Farnsworth and Daniel Sharp. They've been battling for most of the lap. Sharp holds him off out of turn 14 for now, but Farnsworth definitely has the faster car as you see Silas White coming into the pits under the green flag. There's doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that 79 car. It may be a strategy call, but Skeeter Farnsworth gets a huge run down the front stretch and clears Sharp going into turn 1. Hunter Blaze in the 71 follows Silas White into the pit lane. Another strategy call for Hunter Blaze and the Gravity Racing team, which is based right here in Wisconsin. Chuck Johnson back in the 46 car has not made a lot of noise yet, but he goes 3 wide with Maro Adachi and Patrick Ashcroft in the 99. Oh, there's contact from Ashcroft, and they both go into the sand trap in turn 3. Oh, this luck is all too familiar for Johnson, who is the defending winner of this race. Those two are going to take forever to get out of the kitty litter, and they will end up a lap down. But there'd be no caution for them as they are well out of the way. Meanwhile, Sergei Yakovsky gives Anthony Griffith, a huge shot going into Station 5 as Daniel Sharp, Griffith's teammate, runs off the road. So a little bit of trouble for Team Thunder down in that corner, and now Michaela Perry-Jones turns Sharp into the wall. And this, of all things, is going to prompt officials to throw a full course yellow. I'm not sure why, and this was immediately laughed at on social media by people who are fans of and affiliated with the Master Cup Series, which is known to be much more lax with yellow flags on road courses. But this is going to give most of the field an opportunity to make what should be their final pit stops. And there you see Silas White and Hunter Blaze, who pitted under the green just a few laps ago, leapfrogging everyone else. Nicholas Radcliffe now goes up in smoke, coming to the restart. He had been holding down second before the caution and came out just a couple of spots behind his teammate. He was on track to have one of his best finishes ever, but his engine says otherwise. Meanwhile, Silas White leads his first laps of FARC competition. His family team's been in the running since 2017 when he finished second on debut at Elko Speedway, but never led any laps until now, but that's going to be short-lived as Hunter Blaze makes quick work of him down in Station 5. And he may have been a little rattled by that as he now swings it wide out of turn 6, opening up the door for Billy Ray Smith-Thompson. He does hold him off for now, but now there's contact between Maru Adachi and MJ Bakerman. Harry Asinola gets cleaned out by the careening 98 car, and Tony Long gets involved as well. Long's gonna get stuck in the sand trap. Harry Asinola is embedded in the tires, but MJ Bakerman soldiers on. She will remain in the race. Coming back to the yellow, Michaela Perry-Jones and Skeeter Farnsworth make contact, going into the kink with a predictably hard crash. Daniel Sharp and Kerry Fenton get a piece of that, and that's your points leader out of the race for the second week in a row. But fortunately, MPJ and Farnsworth were able to climb out of their cars, but now Silas White goes out of the race, coming to the restart. He blows up under caution, joining a long list of drivers who have done just that. I'm not sure what's going on there, but now Ben McClellan spins himself out of third place, running into the back of Billy Ray Smith-Thompson. Just a lap later, Smith-Thompson, still running second, reports that he's down on power. That car has obviously started hurting as it comes down the straight into Station 5. He gets easily passed by Anthony Griffith and now falls victim to Sergei Yakovsky. Looks like a cylinder might be down on that car. He's definitely going to have to let Yakovsky go here. Durain Ridman in the 68 fell a lap down earlier and hasn't been able to recover, but he's still faster than the 42. And now Anthony Griffith slides off the road coming into the carousel. He's able to recover, but now he sacrifices second place to Yakovsky, who has recovered very nicely after slipping back from the pole position. He's also recovered from that big accident on the restart. That last pit stop, they certainly got the chance to fix the setup, but it's all Hunter Blaze up front for now, capitalizing on the misfortunes of his points rivals, MPJ and Taylor Matthews. But he is on slightly older tires than the rest of his competition. Sergei Yakovsky is slowly catching up to him. Both drivers are looking for their second win of the year, and Yakovsky lunges into turn 14 as Hunter Blaze runs wide, but Blaze gets a much better exit off the corner. Up the hill, Yakovsky trying to catch back up, drafting off of the 17, which is definitely very doable with this long front straightaway and the giant-ass spoilers on the back of the cars. Another big dive into turn 1 for Yakovsky. Hunter Blaze maybe having to take it easy coming into the corners now, but Blaze is doing a veteran job holding him off, hanging on around the outside. Yakovsky inching ahead off of turn 3, but Blaze back on the power, much better than him once again. Drag race under the bridge, which is considered turn 4, heading down into Station 5. Blaze has the preferred line this time, but again, Yakovsky's been better on entry, but he can't find an advantage now. Meanwhile, Anthony Griffith has joined the battle as Hunter Blaze clears the 82 once again. Yakovsky runs wide into 6, opening up the door, baby, for Griffith. He ran a bit into the grass. Griffith jumps onto his outside. And look at how much Hunter Blaze is gaining back already. He's got a very clear lead as these two fight for second. Neither one of them gives up. They're still stuck side by side. Coming into the carousel now. Yukovsky's got a slight advantage here with the preferred line. Both of these drivers have equal tires. And now Yukovsky out of the carousel clears Anthony Griffith by a few car lengths. He's going to work on chasing Hunter Blaze again as Rip Tyler smashes into the back of Mauro Adachi. Coming into turn 1, this is the battle for 13th place, but now it's going to take Rip Tyler out. Meanwhile, Billy Ray Smith-Thompson is in danger of falling out of the top 10. He's just lost the 10th spot to Phyllis Theodore in the black 74 car, and now Kerry Fenton is all over the back of him. It sure looked like there was a lot of smoke coming out of that 64 car after the wreck in the kink, but MJ got that car repaired and back onto the track, and now Fenton's finally looking at another top 10 finish. But Billy Ray's doing his best to hold her off, only running on 7 cylinders. 4 laps to go now. Yukovsky and Griffith are stalking Hunter Blaze once again, but now the engine goes on Anthony Griffith's car. It's now a 2-horse race as Griffith is out. Yukovsky closes the gap into Canada corner, almost hitting the 71 in the back. I'm sure the temptation was there, but Blaze is not giving into the pressure. Hunter Blaze has grown up on the upper Midwest short tracks, but he's proved to be a very versatile racer, getting his first win on the dirt tracks, and now he's looking at his first road course win, but he's got to hold off Sergei Yukovsky to do it. But as they come up the hill, back to the start-finish line for 3 to go, there's a caution as Anthony Griffith has come to a stop on the track after blowing up. He may have been trying to limp it back to the pits, but he just loses all of his momentum coming out of Canada corner, and there's no good spot to pull off there. So the yellow flag is out. It looked like we may have been set up for a 1-lap shootout, but pacing around with 2 laps to go, there is no indication that the race is going to get restarted. It sure seems like Griffith's car wouldn't have taken so long to clean up, but maybe the officials have seen it differently. Maybe they don't want to total a bunch of cars with a 1-lap shootout. But either way, this is going to be a huge hometown victory for Gravity Racing, as Hunter Blaze leads the field up the hill for the final time and will take his 3rd career FARC Lowe Dollar Series victory and 2nd of the year, thanks to a great strategy call and a conveniently long caution that I'm sure will be well received by fans and fellow competitors alike afterwards. Sergei Yukovsky had a terrible start to the race after winning the pole and just comes up short of a perfect recovery. Unfortunately, he never actually led a lap all day and will just have to settle for the pole winner bonus. Ben McClellan recovered from his late spin to finish in 3rd, but unfortunately, the Lemoyne & Cook team was hit with an unapproved body modifications penalty. That's going to cost them 50 points. And they're certainly no strangers to the tech inspector's wrath, as they were hit with a penalty after the Mexico City race, which put them in negative points for a while. So that's going to put a damper on their best finish of the year. Meanwhile, Mark and Aaron Coultier round out the top 5. Stayed out of trouble pretty well for the most part. Daniel Lechlater drove all the way from 30th up to 6th place. Phyllis Theodore likewise came from the back of the field to finish in the top 10. Kerry Fenton, Daniel Sharp, and Billy Ray Smith-Thompson round out the top 10. Smith-Thompson did a great job hanging on to a top 10 finish. However, only 11 cars finished on the lead lap. Mauro Adachi, the last of them. Patrick Ashcroft and Chuck Johnson were the first cars 1 lap down after getting stuck in the sand trap earlier in the race. And to add insult to injury for Chuck Johnson, his team would also be hit with a penalty, this time for improperly labeled ballast, which carries a 25-point penalty. MJ Bakerman, Tony Long, and Derain Ridman were the last cars to finish. This race really took its toll on the field, and I wouldn't be surprised if, again, the officials just wanted to avoid the possibility of even more cars wrecking out in a 1-lap shootout. Silas White was on the same strategy as Hunter Blaze and could have had a great finish if his engine didn't blow up, likewise for Nicholas Radcliffe. Michaela Perry-Jones has been leading the points for much of the year, but for the second week in a row. She does not gain any points coming out of the race, and that's going to put her lead in jeopardy. Taylor Matthews, finishing down in 31st, is not going to be able to score enough to keep those points coming out of this weekend. And rounding out the field, out after the first lap, would be Ryan Forrest and Kevin Monroe in his last minute, but still much anticipated return to FARC racing. And now looking at the point standings, we have a new leader. Hunter Blaze scores big with his win as his points rivals falter. Michaela Perry-Jones trails by 26 as Maro Adachi and Taylor Matthews move into a tie for third place. Adachi wins the tiebreaker with his victory at Texas. Daniel Sharp vaults into 5th place. I'm sure his performances for Team Thunder have surprised a lot of people over the course of this season. Harry Espinola loses that spot to Sharp. Patrick Ashcroft and Mark are 7th and 8th. Grant Carsons falls to 9th after his blown engine, and Todd Stater rounds out the top 10. Next week, the FARC Lowe Dollar Series will be racing on a temporary course around the Cottenham Farms property in Hallam, Nebraska. And as always, you'll be able to catch all the action right here on Fuel Spill TV.